Have you ever found yourself getting angry at a friend for canceling plans or shrinking under criticism at work? If your reaction seems disproportionate to the situation, it may be rooted in sensitivities from your childhood. But how do you identify these connections and break the pattern? In this video, we will delve into the reasons why seemingly minor triggers can lead to intense emotional responses. We will also discuss various strategies aimed at overcoming these emotional roadblocks. When your emotional reaction doesn't match the seriousness of the situation, it's a sign that your child mode has been activated. Child mode is a term used in schema therapy to refer to the inner child of a person who struggles with a maladaptive schema like self-sacrifice, self-neglect, abandonment, or mistrust. A mode is a state of feeling that one falls into when old feelings are triggered from moment to moment. Problematic modes are triggered by love situations that we are sensitive to due to past experiences. If you were bullied in school, for example, you may still be sensitive to rejection as an adult, even if you are now surrounded by kind people who care about you. The cancellation of plans by a friend can unexpectedly trigger feelings of rejection. Or maybe without realizing that there is a childhood experience behind it, you suddenly feel powerless and sad again like you did when you were a child. Or when your boss criticizes your work, you feel small again, like when your father used to look critically at all your achievements. These modes can be triggered frequently or infrequently and may remain dormant for years until a major life event such as divorce, the death of a loved one, or the birth of a child sets them off. Psychologist Jeffrey Young developed schema therapy in the 1990s. He noticed that many of his clients had strong, recurrent patterns in their lives that they kept encountering. Even though they knew rationally that what they were doing wasn't helpful, they kept falling into the same traps. Some people, for instance, kept finding themselves in relationships where they were treated like dirt. Others never felt good enough no matter what they achieved, and still others never dared to make decisions for themselves. According to Young, our patterns of behavior can often be traced back to experiences from our childhood. Jeffrey Young created 18 schemas, which are themes that originated in childhood and continuously prevent us from reaching our goals. For example, if someone lost a parent at a young age, they may carry the theme with them and always feel like they can't fully rely on others because they could disappear. As a result, they may tend to keep others at a distance, but in doing so, they miss out on exactly what they need, which is to feel safe and connected with others. Human beings have a number of basic emotional needs that are necessary for psychological well-being. These needs are not just wants or desires, but rather essential components of our emotional health and survival. First of all, we have an innate need to feel connected to others and to have close, supportive relationships. A secure attachment means that we feel safe, loved, and valued by others, and that we can rely on them for emotional support and comfort. We also have a need to feel that we are in control of our own lives and that we can make decisions for ourselves. This involves having a sense of freedom and independence, as well as the ability to think for ourselves and take responsibility for our actions. We all have a need to express our emotions and to be heard and understood by others. This means having the freedom to express our needs, feelings, and desires without fear of judgment or rejection. We need to have fun and enjoy ourselves in order to experience a sense of happiness and fulfillment. This involves being spontaneous and playful, engaging in activities that brings us joy and pleasure, and not taking ourselves too seriously. Finally, we need to have clear boundaries in our lives to feel safe and secure. This means being able to say no to things that don't align with our values or priorities, and having a sense of control over our own lives and choices. When these basic emotional needs are met, we are more likely to experience positive emotions, feel more resilient, and have greater overall life satisfaction. However, when these needs are not met, we may experience negative emotions, feel anxious or depressed, and struggle with relationships and personal growth. For healthy emotional development, all of these needs must be adequately met during childhood. It's worth noting that when certain needs are not met, it doesn't necessarily mean it was done intentionally by parents. Some parents love their child so much that they end up impeding their child's basic needs for independence and boundaries. And there are also parents who are both loving and demanding. Modern schema therapy is a therapeutic approach that focuses on identifying and addressing maladaptive patterns. In recent years, a significant amount of research has been conducted on the effectiveness of schema therapy. Proven effective for personality disorders, it also helps with anxiety, depression, eating and relationship issues, and addiction. But it can also be beneficial for people with less severe problems to examine the patterns they have inherited from their childhood and whether these are hindering their life and their goals. By gaining a deeper understanding of our modes, we can gain insight in our own emotional processes and take the necessary actions to manage them effectively. So, everyone has a vulnerable child within us, or a little voice that provides commentary on what we do or survival strategies, though not to the extreme as seen in personality disorders. When we are in a child mode, we behave like a young child who is angry or sad. Like a child, we are completely overwhelmed by emotions, without room for perspective and without being able to empathize with feelings for others. It's like we lose control of our emotions and behavior. Child modes are different aspects of ourselves that developed in response to the experiences we had during childhood. They are often triggered by small events where the reaction is not proportionate to what happened. So let's look closely at the main child modes. The vulnerable child mode represents the emotional pain and negative experiences and needs that were not met during childhood. It arises from experiences of feeling helpless or vulnerable and characterized by feelings of dependency and a need for protection and safety. This includes experiences such as physical, emotional, and sexual abuse, as well as neglectful or dismissive parenting styles. There may be different types of vulnerable child modes, such as the abused child or lonely child, depending on a person's specific experiences. These modes hold unmet needs and can influence a person's thoughts, feelings, and decisions. People with this mode may struggle to assert themselves or set boundaries and may feel overwhelmed, lost, unloved, or anxious in the face of stress or adversity. They may struggle with decision-making and may excessively rely on others for support and validation. When a person is in angry child mode, their anger outburst is usually excessive and disproportionate to the situation. This mode is triggered when a person feels hurt, anxious, or fearful. An angry child is a part of the self that developed as a response to unmet needs in childhood. Its underlying intention to defend or protect the child who was being mistreated, abandoned, invalidated, or unloved. It's important to note that not all impulsive or angry actions should be categorized as a dysfunctional mode. Anger is a natural emotion that indicates a violation of personal rights or boundaries, and it is normal for individuals to experience anger from time to time. In fact, the inability to experience anger can be problematic. An angry child mode is characterized by frequent reactions associated with this pattern, which can cause significant problems in one's life. An angry child tends to be in unhelpful mode when activated in an adult person. Because an angry child mode seeks to get a need met, such as understanding and connection, but often is an unproductive or primitive way, such as through outbursts or tantrums. If this mode escalates into acts of impulsive aggression, it becomes the enraged child mode, which is even more destructive and intimidating. The trigger for the angry or enraged child modes is typically some type of perceived threat, criticism, abandonment, rejection, or mistreatment. The angry child mode is not an effective or healthy adult way of getting one's needs met or resolving relationship disputes. If left unchecked, it can destroy relationships and leave a person feeling isolated and lonely. The impulsive or undisciplined child mode is similar to the angry child mode, but instead of being triggered by unmet emotional needs, it's triggered by the desire to have what one wants when one wants it. This mode may develop from inconsistent or ineffective discipline during childhood, where either limits were not set or were set too harshly. Those with a strong undisciplined child mode may struggle with addiction. In this mode, you may struggle with self-control and may engage in impulsive behaviors. People in this mode also have a hard time delaying gratification and may struggle with long-term planning. When in this mode, individuals may rationalize their actions by telling themselves they deserve what they want, even if they know it is not in their best interest. However, the undisciplined child mode can be detrimental to one's ability to regulate emotions and act autonomously. It may also contribute to a dependent personality style. When we are in a happy, contented, authentic child mode, we are carefree and joyful. In this mode, we may be able to experience pleasure, spontaneity, safety, playfulness, and freedom of expression, and may have a more positive outlook on life. This mode is often developed when a child's emotional and physical needs are met, and they are provided with a nurturing and supportive environment. If someone has experienced neglect, abuse, or hardship in childhood, they may not have had the opportunity to develop a happy child mode. To break old patterns, we need to strengthen the healthy adult and your happy child mode within ourselves. The most important thing is to understand and care for our inner child modes. Start by recognizing and accepting the child mode. It's important to acknowledge the emotions you are feeling and allow yourself to feel them. Instead of being hard on yourself, practice self-compassion and be kind and gentle with yourself just as you would with a child. Practicing self-care by doing things that make you feel good can help you to manage your emotions. Identifying triggers is also important. Try to pinpoint the triggers that lead to child modes so that you can avoid them or cope with them better when they arise. The key is to focus your attention on the emotions you feel in such moments and to reflect on whether there was a moment in your childhood when you felt the same way. Explore which mode you identify with the most. It may be multiple. You can also use coping mechanisms such as breathing exercises, self-hypnosis, mindfulness, or talking to a therapist to help you cope with child modes. Remember that coping with child modes can be a gradual process, and it's okay to make mistakes along the way. Be patient and kind with yourself, and seek help when you need it. In my upcoming videos, I will not only explore various visualization techniques that can help you connect with your inner child modes and foster greater self-awareness and self-compassion, but also delve into damaging parent modes and dysfunctional coping modes. Namely, I will discuss different coping styles that can be used to manage these challenging emotional experiences. So stay tuned for more. In the meantime, if you found this information helpful, please remember to like, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you for your attention, and I will see you soon.